Lieutenant General A. Arun has a distinguished military career and retired as the Chief of Staff of South Western Command. An All-India rank holder in IITG, he refused to join IITs and instead joined the National Defence Academy. Lieutenant General Arun is a recipient of the Sena Medal for Gallantry, the Yudh Seva Medal for Outstanding Leadership in Conflict, the Vishisht Seva Medal for Distinguished Leadership and Outstanding Service, and the Param Vishisht Seva Medal. He also received the Chief of Army Staff's Commendation 4 times and the North Star Medal for Excellence.
Jai Hind and morning. I have no script. I've been told to keep it to about 22-25 minutes to allow questions. I'd be very happy to do that, whether they're from the live audience or from the online. Why do I have a brain? I mean, I probably don't have one, otherwise I wouldn't have left IIT. That's a separate question. I was also 13th ranked in the All India Joint Entrance Exam. But that must be a record. You know how it works. In some other parts of the country, when I say I was 13th ranked in the IIT entrance, they say, all right, a little shrug. When I say I've been shot and wounded 5 times, everybody rises and applauds. So different parts of the country look at different things differently. But why do I have a brain here? I'm going to sell you one idea essentially, and it's about the brain. The second part is how do you work that idea which I'm going to sell? Whether I'm successful in selling it or no, we will see. We have so many management gurus here who've spoken outstandingly this morning. Fantastic. So we'll start at the very beginning. Everything begins with that little thing. That little thing may be a voice in your ear, maybe the gods whispered in your ear, maybe somebody has given you a brilliant idea. Look back at your own lives, whether you're 16 or whether you're 65. Look at the number of ideas which came your way which you didn't pursue. Those were the earth-shaking ideas. Sometimes those little ones can translate to normal change. They can even graduate to crisis. They can go into chaos, which I'm very fond of because I believe chaos is an outstanding thing to happen because it creates that change when change is resisted. It could also be a little disruptor. Company studies disruptors, but they just study it. Now I'm questioning of using the brain to predict a disruptor. That is what your brain is capable of doing. Use it. It could be an incident, it could be an event. When they are just little incidents, fleeting moments, they pass by. When you seize them and pursue them to their logical end, then you're standing at the beginning of what I call innovation, which I now think is a bad word, because I think innovation is inadequate for a country. I wonder if you know the statistics. I mean, this is a forecast, and forecasts can be wrong. In the year 2070, we are expected to be a 56 trillion economy. 2070. This is a forecast. There are so many years between here and 2070, and so much of work for all of you all to do. I will be long gone. Do you want to realize that dream? Now, if you have to realize that dream, please move from innovation. Innovation in Hindi doesn't sound great. It's jugaad. Go to invention. Go to creation. Create systems, processes, products that will give India money in the years to come so that you can realize that 2070 dream of 56 trillion. It's a forecast, it's not a dream, which means it is possible. Great. Now, where are we? Now, my argument, quite simply, is the entire screen behind me, ladies and gentlemen, or in front of you, is your brain. The area, quite simply, enclosed by this circle, is your mind. And your mind is actually restricting your brain. So, if you didn't understand what I've just said, it came too complex. I'm not a management guy. I've not even studied after class 11. I came to IIT, left and ran away and went to the army, and here I am. What happens is, your brain is like that laptop which you have, or that computer which you have at home or at the office or at work. But I have fed in only Corel Draw. The only program that runs on your laptop or your computer is Corel Draw. Now I'm giving you a bunch of data and ask you to work that computer, you can't work it. Now that Corel Draw, in this case, is the mind. And the brain is your laptop or your PC, which can do fantastic things. Now many times, I'll convert this figuratively and tell you how I think it looks. I think everybody knows what these are. Some of you all have probably spent time behind them, but we will talk about that later, particularly on Friday or Saturday evenings while returning from somewhere. So what happens is, this encloses for everybody. We're all victims of what our mind tells us to do. So what is my argument? The mind is the repository of biases. It's also the repository of knowledge. It also decides. It is the central nervous system. It is the engine that acts. But the brain is the one who will ask that question, why? The mind can provide the answers. So my argument is, sometimes you need to open the shutters of your mind and let the brain move out and forage into the wide world. Let it ask the questions. Look at yourself as a child. Ask a 5-year-old to tell you a story. You will get a story that connects a Maruti car. It will connect a spaceship. It will connect the cartoon. It will connect Ramayana. It will connect this flower. It will connect that cow that crossed the road. It will connect that science teacher and then bring it back to her grandmother at home. That is a child. You ask a teacher to tell you a story, the teacher will stand up and huff and haw for the next 5 minutes because we've lost it. The mind overpowers the brain sometimes. Let it go. Don't let it go all the time, because then you'll find yourself in a lunatic asylum. But let it go enough to seek. So, very simply, in an argument between the mind and the brain, the mind normally wins, and so it should. I'm simply making an argument of allowing the brain to move aside when it's required. And I'm going to try to convince you that we can, quite simply because whether it's the mind or the brain, it's all between our ears. Nobody else from outside is going to come and control it. So how does this simply work? You know, when I ask you for, are we stuck on this? Yeah, how do we unleash the genie in all of us? It's very simple. You know, when I ask you what the horizon is, sometimes you might say it's the ocean. You might say it's where the sky meets the earth. That's the definition of horizon. You might tell me it's a mountain peak. But some people, when you ask them what the horizon is, they will tell you it's the surface of the moon. That's the horizon that person sees. Now, is that person seeing something further, something longer? What is it in that person that is making him or her look so far? But if you're stuck in Saidapet red light crossing, then your horizon is that car in front of you. So sometimes horizons can become very small. Sometimes it can be as large as the surface of the moon. There is somebody else whose horizon is outside, in the Milky Way. So now I'm simply asking you, what is your horizon? How far do you want to see? How far are you happy seeing? Questions get answered when you ask the question, why? What next is a factor that will happen. Because if we are happy with what we think we see, we will deal with yesterday's consequences today, and that's it. My argument for the future of India is to prepare for the next 25 years. Now, if you're not willing to see 25 years, you cannot prepare for 25 years. So you train yourself, give yourself the ability to see 25 years. The way is very simple. Wonder. When you see these flowers, they're beautiful flowers. But you must ask yourself, why are this flower yellow? Or why is it red? Or why is it white? Or why are leaves green? Does a mango leaf have turmeric inside it? Does it have a yellow color? It does. This is how the first yellow color was produced. Ask questions. Your faculty, when you come to the class, must actually be fearful of coming to class. Fearful and excited. Fearful of not knowing the answers. Excited because they're learning something new. As much as a faculty learns, you will learn every day, and that is the essence of growth. The moment you stop asking why, your growth stops. So wonder and ask. And the asking will get you the answers. If not, you will start finding the answers. This is how creation works. Whatever kind of creation there may be. So look above, beyond. Sometimes you'll be afraid, which is natural. Sometimes you'll be uncertain, which is natural. Sometimes you'll be nervous, which is also natural. But these are all right. When you ask the question why, the what next or the how will follow. But you have to start with why. So why does this happen this way? Why does this work this way? How can I do something for something else? Those are the questions which will give us the answers to unlocking our potential for the future. Now when I'm saying our potential, I am in a generic sense referring to a nation. But a nation will prosper only if individuals prosper, which is the essence of what you heard this morning till now. Fantastic. So, what's happened to the screen? Till the screen comes on, I wonder if you've heard of the domino theory. Anybody heard of the domino theory? There's a set of dominoes. Quite simply, the domino theory postulates that every domino can topple the next domino, which is 1.5 times its size. So small domino, 1.5 times, big domino, 1.5 times, big domino, 1.5 times, and that is how it goes. Now I'll show you the result of an experiment. This is a real life experiment that has happened. So if you were to imagine that this is the height of the dominoes, on your vertical axis, and these are the numbers of dominoes on the horizontal axis. Very simple graph, there is no complication here. Now the first domino was merely 2 inches high. Now for those in the audience who may not know, management students may not know much arithmetic, so 2 inches high is about this much. This is also more than 2 inches. This is 2 inches high. The first domino is only 2 inches high. When you set it in motion, I want you to take a guess. By the time we get to the 18th domino, 1/8, can somebody guess what the height of the domino will be? Can you guess, sir? Specs, you look very intelligent. 3 to 4 inches? Okay, the 18th domino is as high as the Leaning Tower of Pisa. That's the power of computation. Okay, let's go to the 27th domino. I'll ask you to guess once more. Yep. 27th domino, give me a guess. Sorry? If you know the answer, sir, you shouldn't be answering. You run a college, it's not the right form. Yep. Now I'll ask you the third one. The 31st one. Mount Everest, and you know the answers now, because somebody is telling you from the side. This is one more trick of, you want to jumpstart your career, ride your own horse. I don't know. They said leaders should not be afraid of saying, I don't know. Nobody should. I don't know is a great answer, because when you say I don't know, then you're looking like that. Now somebody told you Mount Everest, but that answer is wrong. It is actually 3008 feet higher than Mount Everest. Okay. So let's do the 57th one. Yeah, ma'am here in the black, green. Yes, you. What is the height of the 57th domino? Do you have any idea? Take a random guess, mad guess. Look at me. Look at me. Yeah. Just give me a guess. Now I'm going to have to ask you to stand up. What are you studying?
MBA first year.
MBA first year. If you cannot communicate, I suggest you leave the MBA course. I've asked you a question. I've asked you twice. Now I'm going to ask you a third time. The 57th domino is how high? Give me a guess. It will be wrong. Give me a guess.
I don't know.
I'm going to wait. There's a live audience watching you.
It's 100 feet or
100 feet. I've given you the 18th one is as high as the Leaning Tower of Pisa. How can the 57th one be 100 feet? Please sit down. It's the moon. It's the distance from the earth to the moon. But where did we start, ladies and gentlemen? Please listen to me when I speak. Look at me and listen to me. We started with 2 inches. And the 57th one has gone to the moon. That is the impact of that small action. Now the small action, ladies and gentlemen, can either be an HR action, it can be an HR policy decision, it can be an operational decision, small one, it can be a major policy change or manpower recruitment, product change, new sales management, new everything. But that's the impact that small step makes. Now, am I making an argument that every domino you roll and the 57th one will become the height of the moon? No. Because there is enormous slippages between here and that 57th domino, or indeed the 18th or the 2nd or the 3rd. Sometimes when you do it at home, even the first one will fail. And you heard about failure before, so failure is fine. So how does this succeed? Now when you talk to the small moments, that is the galaxy in front of you. The world is actually your oyster. You have to go and believe that, sir said you control the interviewers. Control, in my business, control is a bad word. So, influence, convince, lead on to. So, how do you do that? You had that small incident in front of you, that first domino of 2 inches. If you had chosen to ignore it, you would probably never get to the moon. But if you try 100 times, maybe 2 shots out of 100, you will get to the moon, and that is spectacular success. So you got to trust your brain, trust your mind, trust your gut, trust your education, trust your systems, trust your own skills, trust your ability to work hard, trust your ability to bounce back from defeat and failure. Now when you do all of that and take that first step, these are prophetic words, it may well be a giant step for mankind. But you got to take that first step. And that is the critical step. Sometimes that step is standing up and speaking in public for you. We stuck? Yep. So this is your brain. And like all of us have a brain, so when you get into an MBA school, your brain is actually like this. Oh, we stuck. Yeah, hang on. Go back one. Yeah, your brain is actually like this, is capable of doing anything. No, this is a simple gear. I can turn this gear around 360 degrees anyway and it will still work and spin. Now what happens when you get into a college or when the mind starts taking shape is this. You get confined to a pattern. That is the mind, the track. Do this, do that. This is formal business dressing. This is how you behave in school. This is how you behave in society. This is how you work in my office. This is how you behave at home. This is how you behave in a temple. These are all laid down for us. So it starts happening like that. You get a little older and suddenly you see society is bigger than what you thought. You are now confined to a lot more rules. Your brain is getting more and more firmed. And it's being restricted by the mind, which is the policies. Now, when you grow a little bigger and you start working in a large office, it becomes like this. And now when you suddenly start thinking, boss, look at that corner office, CXO suite, long car, long office, big glass doors. Life is awesome for the CHRO of Deloitte or the senior vice president of one of the biggest companies in Chennai and so on and so forth. Please remember, life for a senior leader anywhere is quite like this. Yep, that's how life is for any senior leader. But through all of this, I want you to remember that your brain is there and it's working all the time. If you're able to harness what your brain can do, you can do wonders. You just have to learn to understand the system and predict the path that it changes. Those dominoes looked very good in two-dimensional. But in reality, there is something called change. Sometimes, most of the time, you can't predict it. However good you may be at forecasting futures. Change causes friction, it creates chaos, it does a lot of different things. Now, how do you handle change? Quite simply, It is through a combination of 4 or 5 great qualities. Many of them are listed on the screen. Please read them. They will go by at the speed at which they do. But a lot of these are very important. And many of them have been spoken about. Some of them will be spoken about. I have highlighted 2, tenacity and resilience. And I think these 2 are probably, in my definition, the most important to go through life. Not just your career, but life. So how do you look at it? You know, look at this tree. When I ask you one word about this tree, you can find 500 words to describe it. But I would use it one word, resilience. This tree has simply refused to give up. End of story. So you could have 35 failures. The 36th one may be a spectacular success. If you give up on the 35th, the 36th door will never open to you. So what do? Knock every door that comes in front of you as well as hard as you can. End of story. So what do to a job? Give it 500%. Give every job as much as you can. You can't do more. You cannot do what somebody else is doing. But you can do what you can, and that's all any employer wants to ask of you. Mr. Sudeep before me, who answered that question, said, I'm looking for somebody in my team who does more than he or she is expected to do and does it on their own, which is initiative. That's what it is. So tenacity, resilience, leadership, success. I don't know if many of you all know what this creature is or whether it's even real or created in a studio. It's a real creature. Please research it and find out. Its name is a tardigrade. It's a microscopic animal which lives at the bottom of the ocean. So minus 50 degrees. It can be brought to the desert, so plus 50 degrees. People have put it inside a thermos and sent it to space. After 7 days, it's come out looking like this. That's the tardigrade. It refuses to die. It just won't give up. It's also very cute. So what attributes does the tardigrade have? It has everything that we've spoken about since the morning. What I have not listed out is also adaptable. Now, these are skills which any CXO will want in their companies. That's all that I'm asking of you. So copy the tardigrade if you wish. It's great. So we spoke about failure not being a bad word. I'm saying failure is a good word. Slow success equals failure. Sorry, fast success equals failure. Easy success is failure. So I'll draw a little graph for you. So on the vertical axis is quite simply performance or efficiency, and this is time. So you're in a company, you're in the Madras Management Association, you're in a manufacturing unit, you're doing whatever you're doing. Life is going on the way it's going on, present way. You're exhibiting the tenacity that is required. Along comes that disruptor. For want of any other thing, let me say COVID. Now suddenly COVID happens, and then you see that, the entire business cycle, profit cycle if you wish, efficiency platform has dropped. It'll keep dropping to a point where you will have another eureka moment, another small voice in your ear. You listen to this voice, and that voice will tell you so far and no more. Now at that point in time, if your company or you as an individual start going back, clawing your way back to where you came down from, that is resilience. So the first part was tenacity, not giving up. Despite your efforts, if you fail, gathering yourself and from there going back to where you had to, that is resilience. Now how does resilience happen? It requires a multitude of qualities. Some of them are listed here. Most of them will be spoken through the course of this day. I want you to remember, no matter what you do, you are never alone. So the CEO of a company who thinks, it's a beautiful quote in Urdu, and I'll translate it for the non-Urdu speaking audience. In Urdu, it is quite simply, "Main ahem tha," which means I am all powerful, and I'm the king and nothing, I'm infallible. And the second line is very simple, "Wahi wahem tha." That was the misconception. So please remember this, we are all teams. A surgeon is a team, a painter is a team, an architect is a team, the ED of MMA is a team, everybody is a team. Try and do whatever you did from the morning till now is part of a team activity. So we're all teams. Teams may differ. Now what happens is when leaders are able to identify the two disruptors, at the top and at the bottom, if you can predict the occurrence of these disruptors and prepare for it, what you do is bridge this gap. And this is what great leaders do. Now when you fill this gap, at the first disruptor, instead of your efficiency dropping, your company will actually move along in a fairly horizontal line. These are companies and individuals who invest in thinking about the future and planning for a crisis before that crisis has happened. It calls for money, it calls for vision, it calls for knowledge, it calls for effort, and it calls for great planning. Do that, and that company will go through with a little bit of up and down. That is what leadership is. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is the relationship between tenacity, resilience, leadership, and teams. So I thought it easy in a figurative manner. So teams are very important. Like I said, we're all team builders and team players. So for team players, there is one alphabet on the screen which is not there, and you can't get this answer, son, anywhere. Please now tell me which alphabet. You ask somebody else, they told you Eiffel Tower. Now you tell me which alphabet is not there. Sir. Student? No. I. Why is the I not there? Because in the English language, in the Hindi language it is me, in Tamil it is nane or na, in English it is I, the single most unimportant word. Ergo, the single most important word is we or us. When a leader says we and behaves like the we, that company will have little or no problem. It's when you start saying I, that creates problems. So eliminate the word I from your vocabulary when you work in teams, and we'll all be the better off for it.
What is it that binds a nation? Is it the power of its industry? Is it the wealth that we're able to generate? Is it the medical facilities that we have? Is it the educational levels that we give our men? What is it that makes a nation? My view is very simple. It's a shared idea of what a nation must bring. When the shared idea and vision is common, you will have a nation homogeneous or heterogeneous. Since we are such a diverse mix, we need to make efforts to put into the fabric of this country the cement that will make it a nation. That is what the army does best. We are in many ways the very guarantor of the idea of India. But through all this, there is one reason all this happens. It's because of the soldier. What does the soldier do? Hell, high water, the deserts of Rajasthan to the highest mountain peaks over 15,000 feet, forests, jungles, rivers, cities, counter-insurgency, counter-terrorism, hungry, unclothed, overworked, he will serve with a smile. I stand here and speak to you on the shoulders of the millions of soldiers, sailors and airmen. Soldier, let me tell you a small story. And I will recount it as I walked through that gentleman's life. It was probably 2003. And I was a lieutenant colonel. We were deployed in a difficult area, and they would, so about 2:30 in the afternoon, I got a information from a local source that in X village, there are 5 militants. So I got through to that company commander on a high frequency radio set because he was a distance away from me, and I told him, Mal, so many villages, so many militants, go. Now was that my plan of action? Yes. So was I smoking a pipe and standing on a model and moving, little pieces around before I made the plan? It doesn't happen in real life. When it comes to terrorism and militancy, that is contact. You act, you'll succeed. At about 5 o'clock, I got a message on the radio set. This is a message which nobody likes to hear. So the message I got was, Sab, bande ko goli lagi hai, which means one of our men has been shot. To me, that is failure. It means on my watch, nobody must get shot. two people have a weapon, somebody will get shot. But if somebody gets shot because I have been inadequate in my planning, in my commitment, or in my haste to take a decision, then I must be hanged for it. That is a failure of leadership. The next day morning, a helicopter came and picked up the casualty and took him away to the hospital. We stayed in that village for 5 days. 5 days and 5 nights. We searched that village. Came back to base. Anyway, got through to the hospital, got through to the ward where he was admitted. A nurse picked up the phone in the ICU and I asked her, "Banda kaise hai?" Start again. I asked her, "How's my soldier?" She said, "Sir, his femur has fragmented at 2 places." Now please understand, the doctors here may know, when you break a bone, it breaks like this, clean. When it fragments like this, multiple pieces, which is why there was blood all over on his leg. So femur left 2 places. To keep a long story short, he had small holes on the left side, but he had a hole the size of a baseball on the right side. The fact is that when he was put into the helicopter the next morning, his entrails and inside were put in a little polythene bag and put inside the helicopter. When he fell, his chest hit a rock, like that. Now, those days, the bulletproof vest was a sheet of iron. So the iron, when it hit his chest, 5 of his ribs got fractured. So I said, put the handset near his ear. The transmission of the good wishes of so many of our men, which I will relay to him, will help him get better. So she got the handset near his ear and said, "Sir, you can speak." And I asked him, "Nimbaram," that was his name. Nimbaram, he was from Sikar district in Rajasthan. And I asked him, "Nimbaram, kya haal hai tere? How are you, son?" For about 15 seconds, there was no response. And I was about to put the handset down, thinking that, either he can't hear me or he can't speak or both. But just as I was about to hand over the phone to the operator, the handset, he said, "Saab, pet mein thodi si takleef hai." Which means after all these injuries, he's telling me, "I have a small ache in my stomach." I didn't know what to say. And then I heard him say in a feebler, thinner voice, "Ki saab, Paltan ke baki bande kaise hain? This man is dying and his concern is for the well-being of the rest of his team. This is priceless. This is the soldier who works for us day in and day out." And I have absolutely no hesitation in saying, ladies and gentlemen, for our today, he gave his yesterday. For our tomorrow, as I speak, he's giving his today. So at the end of it, ladies and gentlemen, this is the story of the Indian Army nation building. This is the story of our soldier.
So what's the one quality that you should remember from the story? Whether you're the youngest team member or whether you're the oldest occupant of the CXO suite, it's the ability to do something for others. Selflessness. Doing something for others which is not mandated and going out of your way to do it. The senior most CHROs here will tell you such a person will never ever get fired. Efficiency will then become less important. Your human qualities of just being a great human being will take over, because these are not qualities you can learn in a B school. These are character attributes which have to be built and invested over time. And no matter what the company is or what the line of business is, human beings will remain central to businesses. And this human trait will be valued wherever you are and whatever you may do. So at the very end, now I'm saying you, I'm not saying we, because I am probably in the last 1/10 or thereabouts of my life. You are probably in the last 6/10 or thereabouts. So you are challenged to be the architects of a glorious future. That is your challenge. Now, like all challenges, it's an option. If you don't take that challenge, you will only play on the back foot, like India played against New Zealand in Bangalore, and you know what the result was. On the back foot, very difficult to hit a 6. So please take this challenge head on, make your own future, make our country's future. Because when we want to look at qualities like leadership or change or progress or growth or happiness, don't look elsewhere. Don't wait for your boss to give you the daily dose of happiness. You'll get a daily dose of bullshit. You will not get happiness. You hold the key. You hold the key to what you wish to learn. You're doing your MBA course. Tell me, how many of us actually willing to do 4 more certifications? How many of us will graduate after 2 years on an MBA course and say, I have interned at 4 different places? Maybe it's a 2-week internship without payment in a homeless shelter for animals. Maybe it's a 6 weeks paid internship. It doesn't matter. Run across disciplines. Today, an engineer studying computer science is also learning art appreciation. He or she is also learning how accounts are balanced. So multidisciplinary plus the human attributes, jumpstart a successful career. You will go, escape velocity. You will become like the starship. We'll catch you back when you come back to space. They're all inside jobs. You are never ever given a problem without having been given the ability to solve it. So don't use the word problem, find solutions, and you have them within you. So at the each end of it, we're all responsible people. See the magic. Start with the question why, and learn to predict the future, your future. Nobody else will make it, you will make it on your own. So while I'm, enough of this nonsense about the future and stuff, enjoy today. You use the word enjoy, sir, you use the word enjoy. I'm saying enjoy it 100%. Everything you do must be 100%. So when you're studying, it's 100%. When you're working, it's 100%. When you're having fun, it's 100%. That is how life becomes wholesome and full. So tell me, give me a voice view. Do you like this view, yes or no? This is a bloody Chennai audience. Do you like this view? Let me show you what a management student's view must look like. That's the view. Step forward, take that head on, live life fully. No success has ever been achieved without an amount of risk having been taken. That's all I'd like you to remember. Thank you very much. There must be a couple of questions which the generous group captain will read out if there is. Yeah, I'm done.
So thanks a lot. Ladies and gentlemen, Lieutenant General Arun for you, as inspirational as ever. I'll request Lieutenant General, one question if we can take, sir. We just have time for one possibly, sir. How do you suggest individuals approach failure and setbacks in their career, and how are the experiences to be taken from there on?
Okay, failure, we've said, first of all, look around you. Look around you wherever. Look around you in a bus, look around you in a train, look around you in a metro, look around you in college, look around you at home, look around this audience. In the front 2 rows are extraordinarily successful people. All have failed. Please ask them. There is nobody who does not fail. If you're a religious person, read mythology. All our gods have also failed. Failure isn't a bad word. There is a business school where I do a course. That school has a complete shelf in the library on failure. And every MBA student has to write a project on some spectacular failure. Do you know that 36 times that Starship crashed, they couldn't recover it? 36 times. Or 35. The 36th or 37th time was when it was a spectacular success. Now all of us are standing and applauding. What is the result of failure? Now when is failure bad? All failure is not good. Because if you fail and you cry about it and do nothing about it, you will take the test again and fail again. That's a guarantee. So that time failure is terrible. Failure is great when you step back and say, why did I fail? Was my product not good enough? Was the R&D inadequate? Did we launch too soon? Weren't our financials robust enough? Was our marketing inappropriate or incorrect or not timely enough? Was our sales and ad campaign not there at all? Did we target wrong audiences? Is our after-sales service not there? We are advertising a helpline in multiple Indian languages, but it speaks only Tamil. So these are, anything can cause failure. If you find that cause, fix it. Is there a guarantee that the second time you will succeed? No, because something else may go wrong. Turn around and fix it. There are great marks for people who improve. Now, if you do not improve and do not wish to analyze, that is why I said thinking is a huge form of communication. You have to learn to introspect, but we are now getting into realms of how leaders have to operate, so that's not my mandate or subject here. Embrace failure. When you hold failure in one hand, that failure will tell you why it happened. It will tell you, here you made a mistake, there you made a mistake, there you made a mistake. You let failure go and it will reappear again. So embrace failure, make it your companion, make it your God, make it your tutor, make it your counselor, make it your textbook. That is when we learn from failure.
Thank you, sir.
Now, how do you take setbacks? I mean, there's one life. Live it 100%. Get one thing very clear. Everybody in the audience will die at some point. So within that life, 100%. Easy. I've been shot and wounded 5 times. It's okay. Yeah, 6th time would have been unlucky for me probably. It didn't happen. I've retired. So it doesn't matter. Don't cry about it. Enjoy that. So now when I go through a metal detector in the airport, it pings all over the place. Then I have to show him that card of mine. Then he will salute and say, Jain Saab. Very good. Enjoy it. It hurts sometimes, but just enjoy it. That's life.